Morning. One of my favorite things, green tomatoes, right? So I harvested a bunch of green tomatoes. Here they are out of the garden because this is one of my favorite time of year is fall. I have to show you the beauty of the fall. I mean, I know you know, but wow. The sun is coming up and it's shining through these beautiful trees. So let's take a peek. Yeah, so that's what you get up to in the morning, right? So green tomatoes. Right now, everything's coming to an end in the garden. So I did harvest the green tomatoes. The last thing to come out is the potatoes. So here's all the green tomatoes. So I have just put them in buckets with the top on. Whoops. Oh, don't worry. We're going to do something with those. With the top on so we can make sure that they don't freeze because we don't want them to freeze. So I've got all these beautiful green tomatoes that I have taken from the garden because the garden basically said to me, yes, we're not going to have any more red tomatoes. It's all green now. So this is what we have. So we are going to do together. Okay, so I'm very ambitious right now because it's in the morning. I've had a good sleep and I'm excited about doing stuff. So here's my ambitions. We'll see if we do them all. I want to do chow chow. Chow chow is a very, very old-fashioned recipe. I'm lucky enough to have my sister-in-law visiting right now, and she remembers chow chow from her childhood. Somebody, I don't know if it was her mother, her grandmother, somebody made chow chow. So chow chow is an old recipe for a type of relish that uses green tomatoes. So we're going to try to do that. Then I want to do green tomato salsa. Wouldn't that be awesome? And then I want to do pickled green tomatoes. So that's my ambition. We'll see how far I get because, you know, I have all these plans and maybe I won't get them done, but even if I get one done, it's all good, right? But I have to take you out to the field and show you the side of the field where we have some beautiful reds peeking through all the yellows. You know, one of my favorite things is early mornings. Me and the puppies, even though Daisy May can be quite exhausting, it's a beautiful morning to come out and just take a peek at what's out here. So there are the trees. Beautiful, beautiful fall trees. So let's take a look at the garden and you're going to say, oh, what a mess. No, it's not a mess. It's not a mess. It just looks like a mess right now because the season is over. So what I'm going to do is harvest as much as I can, and I'm leaving the rest to go dry because I'm going to pull out all the dry plants and put them in a compost pile where they'll be safekeeping for the spring. Now, we do still have some calendula flowers here, so I need to harvest the rest of those. And we have a ton of comfrey. Remember I was talking about comfrey, one of my favorite plants. Since my cousin introduced me to comfrey, it's become one of my favorite plants. You know my cousin Wendy, the herb gal. She introduced me to comfrey and I'm addicted to comfrey. I have it drying, I have it bottled, steeping in oil to make skincare, which we are going to make together. I love this stuff. And then over here, we have the last of the potatoes that you can hardly see because they are brown, but here's the potatoes. And I'm going to actually dig them up. So yes, the garden looks terrible. Look at that. But in this chaos, there is beauty, because we are going to take all this dry stuff, pull it out of here, put it in a great big compost heap, and that will keep our nutrients for the spring. What I also like to do is I like to take all of this dead stuff, okay? See all the dead stuff? I say dead, but there's a lot of good that's going to come out of this stuff. But what I like to do also is I'm going to put it in a pile, and then after we plant our garlic, which will probably be very soon, because I like to plant it before the first frost, and I'm a little bit late, so you know, we are the first week of October. I don't want to plant the garlic later than the mid-October. So I need to get this done so I can plant the garlic. And then what I do is I take all of the, I call it dead, but it's had its day. But we'll say dead for now, right? So you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take all the dead plants, and I'm going to plant my garlic, and then I'm going to cover the garlic with the plants that are no longer, growing anything, all the dead plants and weeds. And I'm going to cover the garlic with that for the winter, and that will keep that garlic nice and cozy for the winter. It will protect it in the spring. And then in the spring, I'm just going to rake it off, let the garlic get some sunshine. It's going to do its thing. So again, I got sidetracked. We were talking about green tomatoes, so we need to talk about green tomatoes. Do you know, if you read about green tomatoes, now everything I'm reading says, don't eat them raw, because they're not the greatest health benefits. But what we're going to do, hopefully together, if I get it all done, is pickles are fermented, the salsa is fermented, and it's preserved. And then the chow chow is definitely fermented, and that's all good gut bacteria. We talked about that before, right? Fermenting is really good for the gut, for the bacteria in your gut. It gives you good bacteria, and you need that good bacteria in your gut so that bad bacteria won't grow. Because if the bad bacteria, because I don't know if you know, people, but we are one walking great big house for bacteria. So I know it sounds gross, but it's a true story. So you don't want the bad bacteria taking over the good bacteria. So anything that's fermented is awesome for the gut. So green tomatoes, we are going to have fun in the kitchen doing green tomatoes, all kinds of stuff. So I'm excited. I'll see you soon with green tomatoes. Awesome. Have a good day.